I see a lot of people on Facebook asking what are relatively innocent questions, like what oil should I use, or why would I buy an M140i when an M135i is so much cheaper? And well, 90% of the time they get shot down immediately by other owners who are sick to death of people asking the same questions over and over again without using the search function. Rightly so. I mean, you're using the internet, just Google it. Anyway, to save you the embarrassment of being torn to pieces on a forum for asking daft questions, I've compiled a list of everything that you might want to know about the M140i. Stuff that you're too scared to ask about and too lazy to search for. From common faults to basic maintenance and a few other things thrown in there for good measure too. So, let's get into it. Right, so I might as well start from the very beginning. The M140i was released in late 2015 and I'm not too sure why, to be honest, because they already had the M135i on sale, and I mean, that wasn't exactly a slouch, was it? But I guess BMW just wanted to showcase the newest power unit. Now let's just clear this up for people who might not know. The M140i has a completely different engine to the M135i, hence the difference in price. The B58 in the 140 produces 335 brake horsepower on paper, although people who've dynoed these things have had slightly higher numbers, which is lovely jubbly. Yes, it's true that the N55 in the 135 sounds a little bit better, but fucking hell, it's nothing a new back box in a sport car can't fix. That leads me nicely onto the first common problem with these cars, the exhaust rattle. The standard back box that they fit on the M140i are prone to the valves either seizing or failing altogether, and my god it makes a racket. Sounds like you've fitted a cherry bomb. If your car still has a BMW warranty, they usually just swap it out for another unit, or if you're lucky like me, they'll fit the upgraded M Performance system onto the car. I mean, what's the point in fitting another standard one for it just to fail again a month down the line? Speaking of things failing, I'll move on to the next issue, which is the Oem Oil Filter. Checking service history on any car is a must, but with a Bimmer you want to be making sure that that filter has been changed regularly, because it has a habit of, well, disintegrating, and you know, that isn't ideal. I'll be replacing mine soon, so I'll let you know what state it's in, but the more often it's replaced, the better. As for the oils, rather than me taking you through every single one individually, I'll flash a little chart up on screen so you can pause the video to jot down what you need. Engine oil, gearbox, diff, blah blah blah. If you've swapped your diff for an LSD, you might need different gear to this. This is just for the standard car. The same applies if you're running a tune. Tyre pressures, as a general rule of thumb, should be 32 psi for the front and 35 psi for the rears. Any additional weight will mean that you need to increase them slightly, but anything above 30 psi will be enough to stop your tyre pressure sensors from triggering. Now the earlier M140i's, which were registered pre-June of 2018, don't have a GPF in the exhaust, or you might have heard them being called an OPF or a PPF. And basically what this means is if you want to swap out the BMW exhaust system for an aftermarket catback system, then you won't have any issues doing that on the earlier cars. The 140s produced after June of 2018 will require a slight bit of tuning just to remove an EML light which will get thrown up onto the dash. It's not a massive job, but it's something else that you might want to consider when purchasing an exhaust for the newer models. I see this question getting asked loads on the forums: can I buy an M140i with Xdrive, BMW's 4-wheel drive setup? And the answer is yes, but unfortunately not in the UK. If you live on the continent, they actually seem to be pretty common, but if you want one in the UK, you'll have to have one brought in from overseas, and I'm sure I read somewhere that they were only ever made in left-hand drive. So unfortunately for us, you won't be able to snap up a right-hand drive model from elsewhere in the world. To be honest though, it's not a thing I'd even bother looking for. We have about 3 days worth of snow here every other year, and the whole rear-wheel drive aspect of the car is what makes it fun in my opinion. What isn't fun though is being frozen out of your car at 4:30 every morning during the winter. This won't affect every model, I don't think, just the ones that have frameless doors, like mine. The issue is the glass freezes to the rubber seal around the outside of the window, meaning it can't drop down into the door, so you can't open the damn thing. You only have to be made to climb through your own boot once before you start looking for a solution, and this is the stuff that you need. It's called gummy fledge, I think. I've probably murdered that. And all you do is rub it onto the seals to treat them, and no more sticky. Ideal. Contrary to popular belief, these cars do actually have indicator stalks fitted as standard, so you can let people know which direction you're turning at a junction. Whether or not people choose to use them is a different matter, but one of the things that they don't have are front-facing fog lights. Why, you might ask? Well, there's a charge cooler right behind where the front right fog would sit, so they had to go to improve airflow. Just because of where it sits, low down in the front bumper, means it is prone to having a rock or two thrown in its direction, and the earlier cars offer zero protection apart from the honeycomb grille. The later cars actually have additional mesh behind the plastic trim to stop any stones from piercing it, and it's a highly recommended modification to do on the earlier cars if yours doesn't have it. Two more common faults would be the washer jet filters blocking up, which can be sorted with a simple clean out, and a more worrying one, which is low coolant level. There doesn't really seem to be an explanation for this, especially since the coolant is in a pressurised system, so you'd expect to see some sort of leak when experiencing low level. The only potential answer that's been documented online is that the filler cap isn't airtight enough, and it's potentially spurting a little bit out at a time when it vents to atmosphere. But if you keep an eye on the level and top it up if it requires it, you shouldn't have a problem. And I think that's about it. I'm sure you guys will add your own comments down below just to expand on what I've said already, but that seems to be the majority of basic questions that I see day to day when I'm scrolling through my socials. Another thing which I've deliberately missed out of this video, but I see it every single day, is people asking where to buy spoilers and lip kits and other visual modifications. I'm not going to sink my teeth into that because I could literally be here all day talking about different options. But if you like what I've got fitted on my car, I'll stick a link to a video that I've already made in the description, showcasing 15 cheap mods, and the majority of mods still have active links in the description of that video, so you can go treat yourself to the finest Chinesium money can buy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up or drop me a comment if you found it useful. That's what I'm making these for at the end of the day. And yeah, you can always stick around and subscribe if you like. You don't have to, but you can if you want. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!